"You need to leave," my mother declared casually in the middle of Christmas dinner, her fork still hovering midair. I stared at her, my voice unshaken. "Seriously? I cover the rent, pay every bill, and stock the fridge." The following morning, I quietly packed my things and walked out without a word. Hey Reddit, before we get started, just a quick note. This is our brand new channel, and we're putting in a ton of work to deliver the most compelling stories. If you enjoy content like this, please hit that subscribe button and help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers soon. Now let's dive into the story. Christmas evening was meant to be calm and joyful. I had spent the entire day in the kitchen, pouring my heart into creating a memorable meal. I carefully roasted the turkey, crafted the stuffing by hand, and even baked a homemade apple pie, just the way my mother prefers. The house was filled with the aroma of comfort and sentimentality, and for a moment, I truly believed this holiday might be different. That maybe, for once, it would feel like a real family celebration. I laid out the table, poured drinks, and took my seat with a fragile hope that this night would be special. Without even looking my way, my mother sliced into the turkey and chewed thoughtfully before glancing up, as if she had suddenly remembered something mundane. "You should move out," she said calmly, like she was notifying me of a weather forecast.
No emotion.
No warning, just an icy statement. I sat there frozen, my fork hanging in midair. I hoped I had misunderstood, but one look around the table confirmed I hadn't. My sister's shocked expression and my cousin's paused bite told me everything. I gently placed my fork down and replied evenly. "I'm the one covering all expenses. You haven't worked in years." She casually lifted her wine glass and muttered something about reclaiming her space, as if I were an inconvenient roommate instead of the person keeping the roof over our heads. Let me give you the full picture. I'm 26 and employed full-time in the IT sector. When my mother lost her job a few years ago, I moved in, not out of necessity, but because she was on the verge of losing the home. I took on every responsibility: rent, utilities, internet, even subscriptions. I never asked her for a penny. It was supposed to be a mutual arrangement born from love and gratitude. But slowly, she started acting like I was the problem. Dirty dishes? My fault. Weak Wi-Fi signal? Blame me. A phone ringing during her nap? Disrespectful. I let it go. I told myself she was just going through a hard time. I endured her passive-aggressive remarks, her cold silence, and her constant reminders that I should be grateful to live under her roof, even though it was my income that paid for everything. That Christmas night, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I just watched her go on eating as if she hadn't just shattered my reality. I left the table quietly and went to my room, where I sat in silence for hours trying to make sense of what had just happened. There was no fight, no warning, just a cold demand to leave. Her words echoed in my mind all night. I began to pack my things, slowly, still unsure where I'd go. But I knew I couldn't stay. She didn't knock. She didn't ask questions. She clearly wanted me gone. Early the next morning, while she slept off the wine, I took my suitcase, grabbed my essentials, and slipped out without saying goodbye. No drama, just finality. First, I thought she might reach out, maybe regret it, maybe apologize, but the silence was loud. Days passed without a word from the woman I had supported for years. Thankfully, my friend Mason opened his home to me without hesitation. I slept on his couch and for the first time in a long time, felt seen. A few days later, I found a modest studio apartment across town. Small, quiet, but mine. No one waiting to criticize me. No passive judgments. Just freedom. Then a week later, my younger sister texted me. "You're not going to believe what Mom's been telling everyone." I called her instantly. What she said made my blood run cold. Mom was telling extended family that I abandoned her on Christmas, that I had screamed at her over dinner and stormed out. Several relatives had called to console her. One aunt even offered to bring her food. Couldn't believe it. Not only had she cast me out, but she was now rewriting history to paint herself as the victim. Relatives began cutting me off. My uncle unfollowed me on social media. My cousin removed me from the family group chat. all based on her false narrative. That's when I decided I had to speak up. I had kept my mouth shut long enough. I thought about sending a group message, but instead, I wrote a post. A thoughtful, truthful account of everything that had happened. I explained how I paid every bill, cooked every meal, and how, after serving a holiday feast, I was told to leave. I didn't trash her. I just shared facts and let people draw their own conclusions. Then I logged off. Hours passed. I couldn't bring myself to check my phone, but eventually curiosity took over. When I logged back in, my notifications were exploding. Messages, missed calls, comments. The first was from my Aunt Lisa. She admitted she'd believed the wrong story and apologized. She said my words opened her eyes and that she knew Mom had a tendency to twist the truth when backed into a corner. Soon, other family members reached out. Some apologized. Others were quiet, but I could tell they now understood. My cousin Caleb sent me a message that simply said, "We always knew something wasn't right about how your mom treated you." It was a strange mix of pain and validation. Then came the real blowback. My mom saw the post. I didn't tag her, but she clearly got wind of it. The next morning, she flooded my inbox. First, it was guilt-tripping, then denial, then accusations. "You made me look bad. I never told you to leave." And finally, "After everything I've done for you." That last message made me laugh. A dry, resigned laugh. I didn't reply. What was there to say? She had her chance. And she chose lies. The following weeks were quiet. I focused on settling into my new place. Bought a used couch. Brewed coffee every morning. Watched shows without headphones. And slowly, the quiet became comforting. I realized how much noise I'd grown used to living with. Out of the blue, my sister asked to meet. We hadn't spoken much since I left, but she looked drained. We met at a small cafe, and after some hesitation, she opened up. Things had gone south at home. Mom was behind on bills. The power had been shut off for a day. She'd even asked our grandmother for money, who refused. My sister said Mom was still blaming me. But then she looked me in the eye and said, "You did the right thing. You should have left sooner." That broke me a little. In a healing way, she said she was thinking of leaving too. I told her I would support her when she was ready. Not financially, I couldn't do that again, but I wouldn't let her be alone. A few days later, I heard a knock at my door. It was Mom, holding a store-bought pie and wearing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I didn't invite her in. I stepped outside and stood in the hallway. She said she missed me, that things weren't the same. Asked if we could have dinner. I asked her one simple thing. "Did you come to apologize?" She paused, then said, "I think we both made mistakes." That was my closure. I wished her well, closed the door gently, not in anger but in peace, because I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done. I had tried so hard to be the good son, the provider, the peacemaker, and it was never enough. Now I was free. That post I wrote is still up. It wasn't about revenge. It was about the truth. And the truth deserved to be heard. What happened that Christmas night changed everything. But in the end, it gave me back my life. Months have passed. I've personalized my apartment. I see my sister occasionally. She's planning her own escape. And me? I'm finally living on my own terms. No guilt, no tension. Just freedom.